Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us an article, and wow, the title alone grabs you. Shocking UFO sightings that will leave you speechless.
Yeah, it definitely sets a certain tone, doesn't it?
Really does. So that's our starting point today. We're going to dive into this article and unpack what it says about UFOs, or as they're often called now, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Exactly. And this isn't just, a quick glance. The article lines up several specific sightings and claims, suggesting this is maybe more than just misidentified planes or weather balloons.
It leans into that idea of, well, the article uses the word terrifying reality.
Right. It touches on alleged government acknowledgments, some really classic UFO cases, newer ones too, and even this idea of reverse engineered technology.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive, based on this source you sent, is to give everyone listening a clearer picture of these key incidents.
Yeah, what's being claimed, what's being reported, sticking just to what this article presents.
Let's do it. So the article kicks off by talking about a sort of rise in sightings, or at least attention.
Yeah, it points to recent Pentagon UAP reports, NASA saying they don't know what some things are. It mentions hundreds of unexplained sightings, just from Navy pilots.
Hundreds, okay.
And underlying all that is the question the article raises.
Yeah.
Is some kind of official disclosure coming? Are governments getting ready to say more?
Interesting angle to start with. It definitely creates a sense of anticipation. All right, let's get into the specifics, the classic cases it mentions. First up, Phoenix Lights, 1997.
Yes, a big one.
Huge, apparently. The article says over 10,000 witnesses, including Arizona's governor at the time.
Yeah, reporting a massive V-shaped thing, miles wide, moving silent.
Miles wide and silent. That's hard to picture.
It really is. And the article notes the official explanation flares dropped by the military.
Right, I remember hearing that.
But it also makes a point of saying lots of witnesses just didn't buy that explanation at all. They felt what they saw was completely different.
That mismatch between official stories and eyewitness accounts seems like a recurring theme here.
It definitely pops up quite a bit in these stories, yeah.
Yep.
Makes you think about how these things get interpreted.
Okay, next classic. Rendlesham Forest, 1980. Over in the UK, right?
Britain's Roswell.
That's the one. This involved U.S. military personnel stationed there. They apparently encountered a glowing triangular UFO.
Military witnesses. Okay. What else? The article mentions some specifics.
It does. Things like radiation spikes measured at the site afterwards, strange animal behavior reported nearby, even top secret memos supposedly sent back to the Pentagon.
Radiation spikes. Wow.
And maybe the most dramatic claim, a soldier allegedly touched the craft.
Touched it. And then what?
And then it teleported away. That's the account mentioned.
Oh, okay. Teleportation and radiation. That's quite a step up from just lights in the sky.
It certainly is. And the fact it involves trained military observers, that often adds weight for people looking into these cases. Though, we're relying on the article's summary of these details, of course. But still, those details are pretty striking. Okay, going back even further. Betty and Barney Hill, 1961.
The abduction case.
Yeah.
Often called the first widely reported one.
Yeah, the article calls it the first recorded alien abduction. It talks about details coming out under hypnosis.
Right. Memories surfaced of, what people now often call gray aliens, medical-type procedures being done on them.
Okay.
And Betty Hill supposedly being shown a star map.
A star map. Wow. Was there any, physical evidence mentioned?
The article notes a strange, unidentifiable powder found on Betty's dress. And it also claims later investigations supposedly matched the star map she drew to a star system, one that wasn't known at the time. or an unknown solar system, is how the article puts it.
That's a lot to unpack. Hypnosis, grays, star maps, strange powder.
It really set the template for a lot of abduction narratives that came later. Now, hypnosis itself is, complex as a memory retrieval tool.
Sure, yeah.
But the powder, the map, those are often pointed to as potentially corroborating elements.
Okay, one more classic from the article. Kenneth Arnold, 1947. This is the flying saucers one, isn't it?
That's right. Pilot Kenneth Arnold sees 9 disc-shaped objects. The article says he clocked them moving incredibly fast, like 1,700 miles per hour.
1,700 miles per hour in 1947.
Exactly. Way beyond known capabilities then. And the media ran with his description, coining flying saucers.
And this led to Project Blue Book, the Air Force investigation.
Yep. The article mentions Project Blue Book started after this, but it also drops that suggestion that maybe it wasn't a totally transparent investigation, maybe even a cover-up.
That suspicion about government transparency seems to run deep in this topic.
It does. Arnold's sighting really marks the start of the modern UFO era in the public eye, and questions about the official response started almost immediately.
Okay, so those are the classics. Now, the article moves to what it calls new shocking cases, starting with the Nimitz UFO 2004.
Right, this one's gotten a lot of attention more recently.
Because of the leaked video, the FLIR footage.
Exactly. Showing that white, smooth object, the article calls it a tic-tac shape with no visible wings or exhaust, encountered by Navy pilots off the USS Nimitz.
And Commander David Fravor's quote is pretty famous now, right?
Yeah, it accelerated like nothing I've ever seen. Just poof, gone.
The article also mentions radar tracking.
Supposedly tracked it, dropping from like 80,000 feet down almost to sea level in just seconds.
That kind of maneuver, yeah, that's beyond anything we know of publicly.
The credibility of the witnesses, experienced pilots, radar operators, plus the sensor data, that makes the Nimitz case really compelling for a lot of people.
Okay, next one is very different. The aerial school sighting. Zimbabwe, 1994.
Yeah, this one stands out because the main witnesses were children, lots of them.
How many?
Around 60 school children, the article says. They apparently saw a silver craft land near their playground.
Land. And did they see anything else?
They reported seeing a being outside the craft. And get this, they claimed it communicated with them telepathically.
Telepathically, with 60 kids.
That's the claim. The article mentions a Harvard psychiatrist, John Mack, interviewed them and reportedly concluded they weren't making it up. And one child apparently received a specific message, something like, the aliens are worried about Earth's future, an environmental warning.
Wow. A group of kids, telepathy, an environmental message. That's quite a story.
It is. The large number of witnesses telling similar stories is striking. And that telepathic communication theme, it does pop up in other accounts sometimes.
Okay, moving to an airport now. O'Hare Airport UFO, 2006, Chicago.
Right. This involved United Airlines employees, pilots on the ground, not just random people looking up.
So aviation professionals, what did they see?
A hovering disc over one of the gates, according to the article. FAA logs apparently even confirmed it initially.
Hovering over O'Hare. And then...
Witnesses said it suddenly shot upward, leaving a distinct hole in the cloud cover.
A hole in the clouds. Weird. And the article mentions something about the records.
Yeah, it alleges the FAA later deleted records related to the incident, which, fuels speculation.
Naturally. Missing records always raises eyebrows. Interesting that it involved airline staff and pilots.
Definitely. And the claimed maneuver, punching a hole in the clouds as it left, is a very unusual physical detail.
Okay, last in this newer section, Bob Lazar. Back to 1989 for this one.
Bob Lazar. A very controversial figure, but central to a lot of the Area 51 lore.
He claimed he worked on alien tech, right? At a secret site called S4.
That's his story. Reverse engineering captured alien spacecraft. The article highlights his claim about something called Element 115.
Element 115. What about it?
Lazar claimed it was used to power the craft. The article points out that an element with atomic number 115, moscovium, was synthesized in labs much later, in 2003.
Interesting timing.
Lazar supporters see that as validation. Critics point out differences between his description and the actual element. The article also mentions Lazar claiming he faced death threats and had his academic and employment records erased.
To silence him, presumably.
That's the implication in the article, yeah. That efforts were made to discredit him because he was revealing too much. His story is definitely one of the most detailed and debated out there.
Okay, so from these specific cases, the article then broadens out a bit. Unexplained phenomena and government secrets.
Right. It starts connecting the dots, or at least posing bigger questions based on the pattern of sightings and secrecy.
It asks why UFOs might disable nuclear missiles, referencing a Malmstrom AFB incident, though it doesn't give details here.
Yeah, that alleged connection to nuclear sites is a recurring and frankly unsettling theme in UFO reports. The idea that something unknown is monitoring or even interfering with our most powerful weapons,
That is unsettling, and it mentions the Pentagon's secret UFO program, ATIP.
which we now know was real, of course, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Its existence came out a few years ago.
Right, and the article throws in claims from unnamed whistleblowers.
Just a quote, "We've recovered non-human craft." Again, anonymous. So hard to assess, but it feeds that narrative of hidden knowledge.
So these individual stories, plus the ATIP confirmation, plus these whistleblower claims, it all builds towards this idea of governments knowing more,
Exactly. It sets up the final, really big questions.
which the article frames as, are we alone?
Mm-hmm. And it throws in a couple more intriguing, though, again, unsourced tidbits, like NASA's Mars anomalies.
I wouldn't.
It just lists pyramids, faces, metallic objects, the kind of stuff you sometimes see debated online based on rover images.
Ah, okay. Pareidolia, maybe. Seeing familiar shapes.
That's the usual scientific explanation, yeah. Natural formations, tricks of light and shadow. But the article includes it as part of the mystery.
And it brings up the Fermi paradox.
Right. The classic question. The universe is vast. Probability suggests alien life should be common.
Hmm.
So where is everybody? Why haven't we found clear evidence?
It's a great paradox, but the article ends with a twist on it.
Yeah, it flips the question. Instead of where are they, it asks, or have they been here all along?
Leaves you hanging there.
It definitely does. A provocative end to its narrative.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive, based purely on the source article we looked at.
We've gone through quite a range of reported UFO-UAP events. Some old, some new, some with lots of witnesses, some with military personnel, some with alleged physical traces, or even recovered materials claimed.
The article really leans on eyewitness testimony, especially from credible observers like pilots.
Yeah, and reports of technology that seems, well, impossible by our standards. Extreme speed, acceleration, weird movements.
And that thread running through it all, the suggestion of government awareness, maybe even secrecy or cover-ups, going back decades.
Right. The overall narrative presented is one where these aren't just mistakes or hoaxes, but potentially evidence of something extraordinary, maybe even non-human, interacting with our world.
So key takeaways from this source article seem to be the sheer persistence of sightings, the advanced capabilities described, and the enduring questions about what authorities might know.
Exactly. It paints a picture where the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation isn't just science fiction, but something suggested by these accumulated accounts.
All right. So, thinking about everything this article presented, the Phoenix Lights, Rendlesham, Nimitz, Lazar, all of it, for you, our listener, what single piece of this puzzle, as laid out here, sparks the most curiosity?
Yeah, what's the one detail or claim that really makes you pause and think? And what other questions does that then bring up for you about what might still be out there unknown?
Thanks as always for watching today. And if you like our videos, please don't forget to click on the like button and comment in the comments section. And if you already haven't done so, why not subscribe? It is completely free.